Today I'll share science-based methods to build unshakable mental resilience that you can start practicing immediately. Are you struggling with situations like these? You feel overwhelmed when facing difficult challenges at work or in relationships. You find yourself crumbling under pressure when you need to be strong the most. You lose confidence quickly after small setbacks and struggle to bounce back. You feel emotionally fragile and wish you had the mental strength to handle whatever life throws at you. If any of these sound familiar, you're definitely not alone, and today's methods will help you develop the rock-solid mental resilience you've been wanting. Let me explain why many people struggle with mental fragility and what's actually causing this problem. The first major issue is that most of us were never taught how to properly regulate our emotions. Your brain has specific systems designed to handle stress and recover from setbacks, but without proper training, these systems remain underdeveloped. Think of it like having a muscle that you've never exercised. It stays weak and unreliable when you need it most. The second problem is that many people confuse mental toughness with emotional suppression. They think being resilient means shutting down their feelings or pushing through pain without acknowledging it. This approach actually weakens your emotional foundation rather than strengthening it. Real resilience comes from learning to work with your emotions skillfully, not against them. The third issue is that your nervous system often gets stuck in reactive mode rather than responsive mode. When stress hits, instead of having tools to reset and respond thoughtfully, you automatically react from a place of overwhelm. The good news is that neuroscience research shows us that your brain is incredibly adaptable throughout your entire life. Every time you practice resilient responses, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways to make emotional strength your default setting rather than emotional fragility. Now let's dive into the 6 practical methods that will transform your mental resilience starting today. These techniques are all based on scientific research and can be implemented immediately without any special equipment or expensive investments. The first method is the box breathing reset technique. This is probably the most powerful tool you can have in your mental resilience toolkit because it directly resets your nervous system when stress hits. Here's exactly how to do it. Inhale slowly through your nose for exactly 4 counts, focusing on filling your lungs completely but without straining. Hold your breath gently for 4 counts. This isn't about holding your breath to the point of discomfort, just a gentle pause. Exhale through your mouth for 4 counts, letting all the tension leave your body with the breath. Hold your empty lungs for 4 counts before starting the next cycle. Repeat this pattern 4 to 6 times whenever you feel stress building up. The key timing for this technique is to use it both preventively during calm moments and reactively when stress hits. Practice it once in the morning and once in the evening when you're already relaxed, so it becomes automatic when you really need it. A research institution found that this type of breathing pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's natural calming mechanism. The reason this works so effectively is that your breath is the one aspect of your nervous system that you can consciously control, and by controlling it in this specific pattern, you send signals to your brain that it's safe to relax. One specific example of when to use this is right before a difficult conversation at work, or immediately after receiving stressful news. People who practice this consistently often say they feel more centered and less reactive within just a few days of starting. The second method is the emotion labeling technique, which research shows can reduce emotional intensity by up to 50% almost instantly. When you feel a strong emotion arising, pause and ask yourself this exact question: what exactly am I feeling right now? Then name the specific emotion either out loud or clearly in your mind. Instead of saying you feel bad or upset, get precise with words like frustrated, disappointed, anxious, overwhelmed, or irritated. Before you label the emotion, rate its intensity on a scale from 1 to 10. After labeling it specifically, rate the intensity again and notice how it automatically decreases. The timing for this practice is immediately when emotions arise, but also during your evening reflection to process the day's emotional experiences. A university research team discovered that the simple act of naming emotions activates the prefrontal cortex, which is the rational part of your brain, while simultaneously calming the amygdala, which is your brain's alarm system. This technique is particularly effective during workplace stress, relationship conflicts, or when facing unexpected challenges. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a project deadline, instead of just thinking "I feel terrible," you might label it as "I'm feeling anxious about the timeline and frustrated that I don't have more control over the circumstances." Many people who use this method regularly report that they feel more emotionally balanced and less likely to be swept away by intense feelings. The third method is daily resilience visualization, which builds mental strength by rehearsing confident responses to challenges. Find 5 minutes of quiet time each day, ideally in the morning, to set your mental tone for the day. Sit comfortably and close your eyes, then visualize yourself handling a current challenge with complete confidence and calm. See yourself responding rather than reacting to pressure, maintaining clear thinking even when others around you might be stressed. Feel the sensation of inner strength and stability in your body during this visualization. End each session by stating clearly to yourself, I am mentally resilient and emotionally strong. The key to making this effective is using real situations you're currently facing rather than abstract scenarios. If you have a presentation coming up, visualize yourself speaking confidently and handling questions with ease. If you're dealing with a difficult relationship, see yourself responding with patience and clarity rather than defensiveness. Experts in cognitive psychology explain that your brain can't always distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones, so by repeatedly visualizing resilient responses, you're literally training your neural pathways to default to these patterns in real situations. People who practice this technique consistently often find that when they actually face the challenging situation, they automatically respond more calmly and confidently than they would have before. The fourth method is the gratitude resilience practice, which rewires your brain to focus on positive aspects even during difficult times. Every evening, write down 3 specific things you're grateful for from that day, but here's the crucial part. At least one of them should be related to a challenge you faced or a difficult situation you handled. For example, instead of just being grateful for good weather, you might write, I'm grateful that the conflict with my colleague helped me practice staying calm under pressure. This practice should take no more than 5 minutes each evening, and the key is being specific rather than general. Instead of writing I'm grateful for my family, write something like I'm grateful that my partner listened patiently when I was stressed about work today. Research from multiple universities shows that regular gratitude practice literally changes the structure of your brain, increasing activity in areas associated with emotional regulation and positive thinking. The reason this builds resilience is that it trains your mind to find value and learning opportunities even in difficult experiences, which is a hallmark of emotionally resilient people. Many people who maintain this practice for just 2 weeks report feeling more optimistic and better able to cope with daily stressors. The fifth method is the cold water reset technique, which gives you an immediate tool for nervous system regulation. When you feel overwhelmed or emotionally activated, splash cold water on your face or hold ice cubes in your hands for 30 to 60 seconds. You can also run cold water over your wrists where your pulse points are located. This technique works by activating your vagus nerve, which is a key component of your parasympathetic nervous system responsible for calming your body down. The cold temperature sends a signal to your brain to shift out of fight or flight mode and into a more balanced state. This is particularly useful during acute stress moments, right after a difficult phone call, before entering a challenging meeting, or when you feel anxiety building up. A research institution studying stress response found that cold exposure triggers the release of norepinephrine, which actually helps improve your ability to focus and maintain emotional balance. The beauty of this technique is that it works almost immediately and can be done anywhere you have access to cold water. People often report feeling clearer and more grounded within minutes of using this method. The sixth method is the micro-recovery practice, which prevents emotional exhaustion by building in small reset moments throughout your day. Set a timer to go off every 2 hours during your workday, and when it sounds, take exactly 2 minutes to do one of these micro-recovery activities. Take 10 deep breaths while focusing only on the sensation of breathing. Do gentle neck and shoulder rolls to release physical tension. Look out a window and focus on something in the distance to rest your eyes and mind. Or simply sit quietly and notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. The timing of every 2 hours is crucial because it prevents stress from accumulating to overwhelming levels. Think of it like regularly emptying a bucket that's slowly filling with water rather than waiting until it overflows. Experts in workplace psychology emphasize that consistent micro-recoveries are far more effective than occasional longer breaks for maintaining emotional resilience throughout the day. These small moments of reset help maintain your mental clarity and emotional balance, preventing the gradual deterioration that leads to feeling overwhelmed by the end of the day. People who implement this practice often find they have more energy and emotional capacity in the evenings, rather than feeling completely drained. Let me summarize the 6 key methods we discussed today so you can remember and implement them easily. First, practice box breathing with the 4-4-4-4 pattern to reset your nervous system whenever stress hits. Next, use emotion labeling to reduce emotional intensity by up to 50% by naming exactly what you're feeling. Then, do daily resilience visualization for 5 minutes each morning to train your brain for confident responses. After that, maintain a gratitude practice every evening, focusing on finding value even in challenging experiences. Also, use the cold water reset technique whenever you feel overwhelmed to activate your natural calming response. Finally, implement micro-recovery breaks every 2 hours to prevent stress accumulation throughout your day. The most important thing to remember is that mental resilience is a skill that develops through consistent practice, not a personality trait you either have or don't have. Please start with just one of these techniques rather than trying to implement all 6 at once. I recommend beginning with the box breathing technique because it's simple to learn and gives you immediate results that you can feel right away. After watching this video, please try the box breathing technique right now. It only takes 2 minutes and you can do it sitting exactly where you are. Practice the 4-4-4-4 pattern 5 times and notice how your body feels different afterward. You might feel a shift in your stress level within just this first try, and if you practice it consistently for 1 week, you'll likely notice significant improvements in how you handle daily pressures and challenges. If today's content was helpful for building your mental resilience, please hit the like button to help others find these science-based techniques. If you want more practical methods for emotional strength and confidence, please subscribe to stay updated with new strategies. Remember, you have the power to develop unshakable mental resilience starting today. Let's solve this challenge together. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.